2020 was just me like fighting through to try and figure it out.
Survival mode.
Yeah, totally. And 2021, I woke up, I'm always a big goal setter. So end of the year, 2020, I set this goal, like, you gotta figure out how to be a CEO. Like, yes. I don't actually know what that means because I'm in survival mode. So I hired a coach, Craig Goldenfarb, out of Florida. And then just really digging in, like, how do I get to be really, really good at this? I don't want to be a subpar CEO. I want to be a phenomenal CEO, putting everything that I have into learning how to do that. And that was really a multifaceted approach.
Welcome to the John and Marc podcast. I am joined by Jacqueline, the CEO of Bighorn Law. She's a Las Vegas native, and we are in Las Vegas right now. So thank you for taking time out of your busy day to join us. I have a bunch of questions I want to ask you.
First of all, thank you so much for having me. This is a huge honor. I followed your podcast for a while, and I'm super stoked to be here.
Thank you very much. I really appreciate the kind words. I was doing a bunch of research on you, prepping for this.
Okay.
All this stuff about Kimball, he's dead to me now.
He wanted to be here so badly.
But I appreciate you joining us. I really want to talk to you about your journey at the firm.
Yeah, okay.
Because you were appointed CEO in 2019.
2020, yeah.
2020,
yeah.
Which is the worst time to be appointed as CEO of a law firm because there was something going on right then.
Yep.
A good old COVID, which was the stroke of death for most personal injury law firms. People weren't traveling anywhere, less people getting injured, courts weren't open. Probably not the best time to get promoted.
Yeah, not at all. And it was actually, so we had a meeting a Wednesday night, and it was the next day. They declared a state of emergency and the courts closed. It was the next day. So it was my first full day. I think I woke up and I was like, holy shit. And I went to Barnes & Noble and I bought a bunch of how to be a CEO book, which by the way, I never used it all that year because the rest of the year was just survival mode. Kimball was a huge proponent of pushing me to step into that role. I don't think I would.
You were probably already on that path. Just timing wasn't ideal.
Yeah, yes. But it worked out. We figured it out. We almost didn't make it, I'll be really blunt. I think when you're a trial law firm and courts closed, we tried a case November of 2019. We were scheduled to start one in March. Obviously, pandemic breaks out, we don't do it. We don't step foot in court again until September 2021. So for a trial law firm, that really almost killed us. There was a point in time our CFO told us, I think we were 3 days away from bankruptcy. It was really scary.
So you guys have 3 days left of cash flow, pretty much.
Yep.
And now you're doing, 400 cases a month?
Now, taking in?
Yeah.
Not quite that high. Our intake has really fluctuated.
Yeah.
Vegas is a down market right now, kind of similar, during the pandemic, the casinos closed. It was unheard of, but that happened. Tourism's really down right now, and we're seeing that in our numbers. We also, there's some market changes and stuff like that. So our intake's been down a little bit, but we're holding on. It's okay. We'll be all right. So not quite 400 a month.
No.
I would love to.
I blame Randy on my research, Doc.
Yeah, we're not that big. Sorry. That's okay.
How much recovered, though?
So, how much recovered?
My research said $1 billion.
Yeah, so we've had
over
$1 billion in fees settled and verdicts. I would have to probably do some math that I'm not good at on actual fees recovered. The firm is 15 years old in September, so
pretty
over
impressive.
That time period, yeah, it's been a good run. It's been fun.
So I want to go back to so CEO appointed, trial by fire.
Yes.
What was the first things you did taking over the firm?
Well, I think we were in survival mode that first kind of week. Everything happened so quickly. The courts closed, the state closed, the schools closed, the office closed, and then there was...
The casinos closed.
Yeah, the casinos closed, which was people are still traumatized by that. And then, people don't even remember this. We had an office in Salt Lake City, and there was an earthquake about 1 week after I became CEO. There was an earthquake that made our office in Salt Lake, which was not yet closed, Utah was behind the game, uninhabitable.
Oh.
So it was an earthquake. So it was that was the first week. And so, you know what, honestly, I thought well, it can't get worse than this. It actually did. It did get worse. But some of the worst parts really were at one point, we just weren't taking in cash that we needed. Yeah. And so the first PPD came quick, but if you guys remember, the second PPD was really delayed. And so we ended up having to go into furloughs, and we lost 19 of our team members as a result of that. That was so painful. Second only to probably the most painful thing, which was calling every single one of our team members personally on the eve of Christmas or on the eve of the holiday season and telling them that we couldn't afford to do a bonus that year. That's painful, right? Everybody's hurting because, with the casinos being closed, our team, their spouses were almost all out of work. And so even though they were still able, the ones that we still had were able to still keep their jobs, you know, their income was down. It was really crappy time.
Yeah, it's like, I don't care how good a CEO you are. Like, those conversations are never easy.
Yeah.
They're the hard decisions you have to make, the hard conversations that, like, unfortunately rest on you as the leader.
Yeah.
But, like, you're also, like, feel kind of hopeless. You're dealing with a scenario that there's so many variables, you can't control any of it, of what's going on. You just can only work with what you can. And no insurance companies are going to settle anything when they know that all the courts are closed.
Exactly. There's no pressure on them, right? I mean, and that's been kind of the legacy of the firm, is putting pressure on them by way of trial. And so when you take that away, you're in a really precarious position. So.
Well, I'm glad you guys survived.
Thank you.
Me
too.
I would love to know, what were some of the biggest lessons you learned, like takeaways or growth moments you had during that time?
I think the biggest one that I learned throughout early on was to be really authentic and be really honest and be really transparent with your team. You know, we're all at home. Everybody's scared. Nobody knows like what's happening, what's going on. And so I started producing these video drops for our team, and it would just be me recording a video, like literally in my home office. That's a disaster at that point because I'm living in it. And just
kids
saying,
running around.
I didn't actually have kids, but I had a lot of dogs, so they were all running around, cats. You know, it was a lot. There was a lot. There was like bread making, and, you know, it was like the whole thing. We were all in it. So at that point, I would just give them updates on like, here's where we stand. This is what we need from you. Here's like what you can expect from us, and just being really, really authentic. And I think the fear was seen on my face. I mean, they knew that I was scared too. But I couldn't hide that from them. If I was sitting there giving them bullshit, they would have known that I was bullshitting them. And I don't think it would have gotten us very far. So being really, really authentic and being really transparent became very important to me during that time. And I've kept that throughout. That was a good lesson to learn really early on in a tough time.
I think that's really great advice. I think one of the worst things leaders can do is, not say like lie to their employees, but don't say things they're adults. They can take bad news, and they will resent you more if you lie to them. Tell them everything's great, and then you have to lay people off because
exactly.
And they're blindsided. Like, they could have the tough conversations. You're like, this is where we are. This is the situation. This is what I need of you to get through. And these are the unknowns. Like, give them all the information you have, and like, hey, I'll answer any questions you have. If you ask me those questions, I'll do the best I can to answer them. But some of them I have no idea what the answers are to, but I'll keep you updated.
Yeah, and I think during that time, you know, they knew that it was getting worse. Like they all know, right? Like
everyone's sitting there, like, people are looking at what's going on. They're watching the news.
Totally.
There's not positive news floating around.
Exactly. Yeah. I mean, there was a point in time. I think I had like 18 people out with COVID all at the same time. I had 3 in the hospital all at the same time.
Did you guys have like the big Christmas wave of like, we had
the Delta wave? Yeah.
Where like everyone got COVID.
Yeah, totally. You know, it's funny now, I sit here 6 years later, I am married. I got married in 2024. My husband is a retired hospitalist, and so he actually worked in a hospital in South Dakota during the pandemic and lived in his van in the parking lot at night. This was like a year and a half, 18 months that he did this, maybe even 2 years. And so I didn't know him back then, but I've seen like our COVID experiences were so totally different. When I tell him about like the toilet paper and the Joe Exotic and like the sourdough, he's like clueless that this is what the real world was doing during the pandemic. This is what the rest of us were dealing with.
He's like, I was working.
Yeah, that's it. I mean, he's a combat vet. And so for him, the pandemic was like, that was like his element. He's like, you know, that was like, he knew exactly what to do. It didn't faze him. He enjoyed the work. And so we had 2 very different experiences during the pandemic.
Super stressful time, you know, like barely made it. You know, like 3 days, that's like,
it was awful.
I'm not gonna say been there, but pretty much been there before as a business owner, where you're like, payroll's going on a credit card if this money doesn't come in soon. Lots of sleepless nights. How was the transition of that mindset of like, I'm a crisis CEO, to now things are turning to like, now I'm a growth CEO of the firm's, like things are coming back to normal, the firm's growing and going to that phase? Did you guys have some big verdicts, a lot of
there was a few like fundamental things that happened that were really timing, right? Like there was a wave of PPP that came through. There was, you know, obviously the vaccine started, but then the 1 October shooting settlement happened.
Oh yeah.
And
I forgot about that.
I know. So we had a lot of those cases, and that was like a huge fundamental game changer for us as far as what we were then able to do.
Was it an $800 million settlement?
Yeah, it was. Yeah. So, and we were able, obviously we didn't have all those cases. Like we didn't settle $800 million of cases, but we had a lot. And so that was actually the funds that we used then to purchase our building where we are now, which is our headquarters in North Las Vegas. And it just really changed the trajectory. The other thing was, Kimball started to settle a few larger cases as we started marching closer to the courts reopening. And then that trial that we started in September 2021 was on a minimum policy, $25,000 policy. It was over a $2 million verdict. And so as soon as that hit, then it was like the stars aligned, and we have thankfully not found ourselves in that position again. But it was rough.
Things started turning around. So like, what are the new skills you have now of running the firm, of like, firm momentum's building, things are going well? What new skills have you learned now?
So if 2020 was like getting through, and sorry, this is what I actually meant to say before. If 2020 was just me like fighting through it to try and figure it out.
Survival mode.
Yeah, totally. And 2021, I woke up, I'm always a big goal setter. So end of the year, 2020, I set this goal of like, you got to figure out how to be a CEO. Like, I don't actually know what that means because I'm in survival mode. So I hired a coach, Craig Goldenfarb, out of Florida, who has been so good to me. And I ended up joining a couple masterminds in 2022. That was a great experience. I learned so much. And then just really digging in, like, how do I get to be really, really good at this? I don't want to be a subpar CEO. I want to be a phenomenal CEO, in part because that's just who I am as a person, but also like, at this point, we have 92 team members. They're relying on me to be good at this job. I have partners who trusted me in this position. I need to do good for them. And so putting everything that I have into learning how to do that. And that was really a multifaceted approach.
I love the first answer you gave, that you went and found a coach.
Yes.
I think it's like, I don't know if people have too much pride. Sometimes they're like, I can figure it out. Like, I'm the CEO because you promoted me or hired me because I have all the skills. But like, life hack is you can pay anyone to give you all the advice you need for any area of expertise to like jumpstart your learning and give you on the right path and guidance.
I recommend a coach to everyone. Like that is, I still use coaches for things. Like I don't think that we have to be forever students, right? And so things are changing all the time, and I will never be, from my own perspective, good enough. Like, I will never have hit that point where I'm like, okay, I know everything that I need to know. I'm good at this now. That is just not me. And so for me, I'm always going to want to learn the new thing, get to the next thing, hire the next coach. Like, it's an evolving process for me that I enjoy.
Yeah, and it's like anything else. The firm changes, evolves. You have new skills. You have, like you just mentioned, like, things are doing well. Now there's like a little bit of a downturn in Las Vegas. Like, less tourism's coming in. Less the volume, maybe some more competitors come in. You have to adapt your skill set, figure out how you deal with those different scenarios, and like.
Yeah, totally. And the firm has really changed, right? Like, I would say a few years ago, we were like any other plaintiff's firm, right? We had some like good trial wins, right? Some 7- and 8-figure verdicts. And we liked going to trial, but that wasn't like the whole focus, right? Now I would say the firm is completely different. Like we hit the 3 9-figure verdicts back to back.
You just had some big wins.
Yeah, there's some massive ones. And then a bunch of 8-figure verdicts in between. And now, like, Kimball and I have worked together since 2013. Like, I get Kimball fucking Jones as my partner. And so how do I focus on his star power, right? Like, he's taking off completely. And so what does he need to keep taking off completely? He needs more of those types of cases. And so I've always kind of run our pre-lit team, our claims team, mostly because I like it. It keeps me still involved with clients, and it helps me really do the most important thing, which is find those cases for Kimball to try. That's like, I'm so hyper-focused on that. And I get so excited when I know they come in. I'm like, man, this other firm that referred this case to us, or like that didn't want it, they rejected it. They think it's a dog, but I know this is the case that Kimball's going to try in 3 years.
It's one of those things, like coaching advice I got. They're like, I have a co-founder. He's not here.
Yeah.
Common trend here, abandoned in Vegas.
Abandoned, yes.
John just had his 3rd child, so he's currently on paternity leave. The coaching advice we got, like, the most important thing for you to do is, as the owner of the company, is focus your time on what brings the most amount of revenue to the company. That can be a varying of different things, but like, Kimball needs to be trying the big cases and take everything else that he isn't bringing in value for.
Yeah.
Exponential value over here. Everything else, take it off his plate, let you handle it, and make sure you're feeding him the stuff that he needs.
And that's exactly what I've tried to do, right? So Kimball's still an owner of the firm, and so he wants to be involved. as much as he can in like day-to-day decisions or big picture decisions, I should say. But I try to really not involve him in the day-to-day little stuff that he doesn't need to be involved in, because Kimball's like highest and best use of his time is going to be going out there and knocking those verdicts out of the park.
Doing research, so you guys really pride yourself on like customer service, client service.
Yes.
How do you optimize the, I also like pride ourselves, our agency on that of like, we are high touch, like emphasizing client service, like we are overstaffed to make sure that we're responding to clients in a very timely manner. How do you approach that as a firm owner, and how do you staff for that? Because it's not exactly a lot of firms say that, but they're not really staffed to provide like great client experience at scale.
So I think starting with, for example, who's sitting at the desk when you walk in the door, making sure I'm in a great city to hire hospitality, right? Yeah. This is like, I get like the cream of the crop here, right? And so finding people for me that have great hospitality skills is easy in Las Vegas. I have to compete though with the resort corridor, so you have to pay accordingly, you have to offer benefits accordingly. It goes everything, like I know there's this trend like, hey, let's get everything over, AI can do this, AI can do this, AI can do this, but like, how many times have you called whatever business, like your bank, and it's all automated bullshit? And how frustrating that is. It doesn't feel personal. I don't ever want that. I want when you call our office, there's a real person, and by the way, they're in the building. And yeah, does that cost a little bit more? It actually does, but it's okay, because it's a real person, it's a better experience for you. When it comes to even case handling, like caseloads, we did a study, it was several years ago now, where we said, okay, if there's 160 working hours, and that presumes, by the way, you take no bathroom breaks, right? If there's 8 working hours per day.
No one's working 8 hours a day.
Exactly. So, but if they were, hypothetically, and if we took each task that a case manager has to do, and we said, how much time does each one of those take? And it wasn't because I wanted to like drill in on them that they need to be more productive. No, it wasn't for that. I wanted to know realistically how many clients could they handle. And so we then set client caseloads based on that for our claims team. And that has worked wonders for us, keeping them in the loop with regard to, I want every other week. At the beginning it's more often, but I want every other week check-in, even if it's just, hey, how are you? I want personal touch when it comes to handwritten cards to our clients when they're having a bad day. We send a birthday card every month to them with a $5 Starbucks gift card. It's small. Actually, you know what? I should probably raise that, because $5 doesn't get you very much anymore.
Yeah, inflation.
Yeah, inflation. So it's probably $7 now, whatever. But we send those, we have the gifts at the intake, the gifts at the close, like all of that really matters. And as we move more towards an AI world, I think that personal touch is going to become more important.
I agree. I say we have like an unlimited budget for like going above and beyond.
Yes,
whatever,
I love that.
Wherever it is. It's whether someone's getting engaged, someone's having a kid, sending gifts, whatever they are.
Yeah.
Actually, I think I posted it this week or last week. I was like, please remind Autumn, anytime any client has a life event going on, we'll make sure we send something, take care of it. It's like,
it matters.
Personally for me, like small gifts, like if someone makes an effort to like do something, goes way above and beyond anything else. Someone, you, showed up with a bottle of Jack Daniel whiskey from your personal barrel.
Yes.
And I am forever indebted to you for that gift. And now I feel bad and I'm empty-handed. And then now, next time I see you, I'm gonna be planning for months about what I'm going to bring you to make sure that I'm like reciprocating. Randy, what are we doing? We got to start researching. How do you operationalize personal touch and make sure it's like part of the culture that like they should be listening for that and make sure those things are happening?
Several years ago, we sat down and we said, what are our core values, right? Who are we? And we came up with them. There are all sorts of things, grit, high productivity, emotional intelligence. But the most important one, in my opinion, is heart. And so we hire based on our core values, we fire based on our core values. And so even we have like a swag buck program, think of it as like giving a shout out in a public Slack, like, hey, you did good, here's some swag bucks, you can then use that to buy all sorts of stuff. And we try to focus on those core values in that. So for example, if I talk to a client and they say that they love their case manager just went above and beyond, I'll go to Slack channel and I'll highlight that. Like I'll give a lot of swag bucks. I'm the only one, I have unlimited swag buck budget. So I give a lot of them out, like 1,000 swag bucks, whatever. It's all Monopoly money to me. So, and I will definitely highlight for them that they had a lot of heart. Making sure that they have access to things and having the ability to make decisions to do nice things for people. So we have a project within our case management software, Filevine, called the EXO project. anyone can go in there and they can leave a note for whoever's in charge of it at the time. Usually it's our receptionist because she has great handwriting, and say, please send this handwritten card, and this is exactly what we want it to say. That card's going out in the mail that day. It's a handwritten card. So all these like small touches, I can show it to you later if you want, but all these small touches I think really make a difference. Everybody gets their mail and it's all junk, but like when you have a handwritten card from somebody, that really, it stands out, it means something, it matters.
I've received 2 handwritten notes recently from people.
And how did it make you feel?
It was fantastic.
Good.
I got both from employees.
Good.
Or one was during the interview process.
Yeah. Okay, that's cool.
I took her out to dinner or to lunch. We had lunch, and then she mailed me like a follow-up note.
Thank you.
And
did you hire her?
We did hire her.
I love it.
She used to help run the podcast. She left. She got another job.
Yeah.
Emily, we missed you. She's off to bigger and better things.
Yeah.
But I was like, I remember that right away.
Yeah.
I had another employee. We had a work trip on all hands, and then she sent handwritten note. She said, "Thank you so much for taking the trip. I really enjoyed it." I was like, "Huh."
That matters, and you don't get rid of them, right?
And you also, when you're going through all your mail, when there's like a handwritten address on there, you're like,
"Whoa,
oh, who is this
like
from?"
Special, like Christmas. Like I never get stuff like this. I know it's all like junk.
It really makes a difference in like touching on like the AI versus human intake versus like how do you actually stand out and provide real client service to like with obviously one of the best possible results, but you have a long life cycle with those clients, and how do you make yourself memorable so that when all is said and done, they're like Bighorn Law is the firm I recommend to any of my friends when it comes across their plate versus the other giants that are all out here.
Yeah, so I think it really matters that the relationship that each of our team members have individually with that client. One of our largest referral sources are clients. Like that is, I think it's number 3 on my list. Number 2 are employees, which is remarkable because I can't do anything for them. Like our rules completely prohibit me from doing anything for a non-lawyer. And so, but clients refer so many of our current clients, and so many potential clients come from our current clients or past clients. And so what I have found that a lot of that is personal relationship with whoever they worked with. So if I have a great lawyer, that client may have been, I had one, for example, that was my client back in 2013, just was our client again. We just dispersed everything. He gets in another crash. And so in that time, instead of reaching out to me, he reached out to the associate that handled it. I actually love that. That doesn't bother me at all. I love that because it means that I've now instilled in her exactly the lesson that she needed to have, that personal relationship, that personal touch really, really matters. And I think that if we're doing that through every single step of the way, from the intake, we have all sorts of stuff set up, like I want the attorney to call the new client within 48 hours of sign up, the assigned attorney. I will typically go through, I'm not always perfect on this, but I'll go through the list of new signups, new clients, and I will call them and just thank them for hiring us, ask them, do they have any questions? Thankfully, our team's great. So those are very short phone calls. I can get through all of them like in a week, like all the signups in a week, usually in an afternoon, right? I can knock them all out because they're 2-3 minute long phone calls max. Because the client's not expecting it, they're pleased that they're getting this phone call and just saying thank you. I think that matters. I
really love that. It's like they weren't expecting it. It's that extra little touch.
Yep.
It's like, how do you build that referral network? Like I'm blessed for our company, just to brag a little bit. We don't have any salespeople.
Yeah.
We don't do any marketing, pretty much at all. Almost all of our business comes from referrals of our existing clients.
That's amazing.
We've had multiple referrals from prospects we're in process with,
really,
who enjoyed the process of going through the sales process with me and John,
and saying,
and then I got a referral from them for another law firm. And I was like,
that's amazing.
But that's our model. I tell our employees, I'm like, if our clients are successful, everything will work itself out.
Yeah.
We have an unlimited budget almost on a client level. There's almost nothing we won't do to make them successful. And as long as they do, not every client works out for whatever reason, different scenarios. But if we do everything in our power to make them successful and they're successful, everything else will work out. We have no problems if that's the case. We try to drive that home as much. Our company motto is beyond expectations. So it's just client has their expectations. How do we go beyond that every time? Whether it's better results, faster client services, any extra thing they need. We've had it where clients won, one of our clients in New York was honored as Ronald McDonald Man of the Year. So we flew a whole video crew out there, documented the whole thing, videotaped him at the house, the award ceremony.
That's amazing.
But it's just he remembers that.
Yeah.
He's great, and he's a big honor for him. I wasn't hey, we're going to do it, send me $5,000 or $10,000 to go do this. It's what can I do that's going to cost me money, but is like worth the investment to really make sure that like we value the partnership and we're going to go above and beyond because you're having a great day. We're like part of the team and we want to celebrate it with
and
you.
they'll never forget that,
No.
that you did that. I mean, those it's such a small thing, right? Like the taking a client to dinner, making sure that, you know, you have a mediation, like you need to buy your client lunch, right? Like you do those things, you go and do those things. And so it really, really matters. And I think being accessible matters too, right? And which it sounds like is part of what you guys do. You're personally doing that sales process. And so for us, you know, I know there's this move to like automate even intake with regard to the attorney, right? Nevada's, our ethics rules require an attorney to personally go over that retainer with the client. So
interesting. I didn't know that.
That's not every state. And in fact, it like, all sorts of, you know, when we do mass torts in particular, I know other companies would like to like go, no, you can't sign it for us. Like we have to go over that retainer, which can create a problem. But also if you approach it as like, it creates a great opportunity for that attorney who's on intake duty, usually it's one of our claims lawyers, to then handle that case. They already have that relationship with the client. They've already built that trust with them. So it's an opportunity to have that personal touch in the, I hate to call it sales process, but that is what it is. You're trying to convince this person to trust you to handle their case. And so handling that part personally on the part of the lawyer, I think matters too. You're doing it right.
I unfortunately have to wrap this up.
Yes.
You are a busy woman and you have places to be, and I do not want you to be late. I know who you're going to meet with. They're kind of a big deal. So I just want to let you end with anything you want to share to the audience. You've been through a lot, and we always try to leave like one golden nugget that you wish you would have learned coming up through the personal injury space with the audience before you wrap.
Yeah, so I'll share with you. So I was one of those, like, I never thought that I would have kids. We talked about our kids at the beginning, and I never
That's probably
ever,
why we're late, by the way.
Yes, we're shooting shit on kids. So I was one of those that I never thought that I would have kids. I just didn't want them. And I met my husband. I was like, oh, I get it. I just want your kid, right? Yeah. That was how it all went down. So I didn't have my daughter till I was 37. And I've been practicing since I was 23. So I had this whole career, 14 years before that, never thought I would have kids. And, you know, I changed my mind when I met my husband, and I have no regrets about that. I have no regrets about doing it a little bit older. And so I tell, you know, it's hard, you can't really like talk about this in a work context with my younger lawyers, but I tell them all the time, like, don't be afraid. I know there's a lot of pressure to like get that out of the way when you're young, but also don't be afraid to do it when you're a little older. I probably would have like pulled my eggs and done some preventative stuff first before I went and made these decisions in life, but I try to tell them don't be afraid to do it when you're older. And I think it's possible if you set yourself up properly, you really can have it all. I have a phenomenal family life and phenomenal career. So it's possible to have both. And I think you just have to kind of bully your way into making it happen for yourself.
I couldn't agree more. I think that's exactly where I am in life. It's like, I believe you, like, if you really want to have it all, you want to have the work, you want to have the kids and the family, I think it's very possible. Thank you so much for joining us. I loved our conversation. I wish we could go longer.
Thank you.
I could talk to you for hours.
Thank you so much.
But thank you so much again, and I look forward to seeing you again, hopefully running this back, and I will have a great gift for you, I promise.
Oh my gosh, no, you don't owe me anything, but thank you so much for having me.
And then if anyone wants to get a hold of you, ask you questions, how do they get a hold of you to that camera?
Yeah, so I'm not really great at email, but you can follow me on Instagram or on TikTok. It's at jrb.esq. You can find us at bighornlaw.com, and our phone number here in Vegas, 702-333-1111.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Jacqueline.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. Hey guys, I'm Jackie Bretell. I'm the CEO and a partner with Bighorn Law based in Las Vegas, and I am here at the John and Marc podcast at the Grow or Die conference in Las Vegas. I had the best time ever, so please subscribe, like, and follow this podcast for more.